the fury of Lewis' attack.
What's happening, my people? It's Cash Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before we get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT, Mike Mazik, Crush the Legend. Salute to everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cash Sports, the Box Historian. Today, the best pound-for-pound boxer of the past 30 years. And you know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Historian bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Apologize, Crush, that your message was deleted by accident. That's why I was pausing there. Yeah. Salute Crush the Legend. Yeah, that was an accident there. Trust the legend, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. in the building. Salute. Okay, yeah, today is going to be, we're going to talk about some of the best pound for pound boxers of the past 30 years. But first, we're going to start out with our little highlight of boxing history segment. We're going to talk about knockouts today. Who has the most knockouts in boxing? We're going to cover that right quick. But how's everybody? It's Monday. We are right back at the beginning of a big week of boxing history. Today is going to be some of the best pound for pound fighters of the last 30 years. Tomorrow, we're going to take a look at the flyweight division. Wednesday, brought to you by Thomas Hill again. We've been looking at the different styles of boxing. We're going to look at Far East boxing to Wednesday. Thursday, boxing in the States is Pennsylvania. Friday, the profile, the life and career of Don King. Okay, that's the big week we got ahead of us. Mike Grimm in the building. Salute, Mike Grimm. We was trying to get that guy talking about where's the white girls that I think Miss Cass hit crushed by accident. She didn't delete him, she deleted his message. But yeah, sorry about that question. See the guy in front of you talking about where the white girls at. So we was trying to get him up out of here. Crush was collateral damage. So yeah. Okay. Never and whatever Crush the Legend put in there is important, man. Never delete that. Okay. But yeah, let's talk about some knockouts. Who has we're gonna talk about the 10 boxers with the most knockouts in boxing history, okay? That's gonna be our little highlights of boxing history segment for today. There's the number 2 guy right there. He has like 132. And all of these 10 are over 100s and they are safe. No one will even fight 100 times again, let alone get 100 knockouts. And 100 knockouts wasn't even common when they was fighting 200 times in a career back in those days. So these all 10 of these spots are safe. Yeah, that's number 2 there, Archie Moore. But knockouts are a thrilling aspect of boxing where boxers outshine their adversary with just one blow. Now, the sudden change in momentum, display of power and skills, an element of surprise make knockouts the most exciting in boxing, most exciting part of the sport. Memorable knockouts become highlight reels and contribute to the sport's legacy. Now, the athlete's ability to deliver powerful and accurate punches has been a big attraction to boxing events for decades. Knockout artists capture the attention of fans and promoters, leading to increased popularity, higher paydays, and more opportunities for significant matchups in the future. Boxers who stand out in their knockout power leave a lasting legacy. And we got back-to-back weeks of 2 of the biggest and best knockout artists in boxing. We got Better Be Ab coming up this Saturday. And next Saturday, we got that monster from Baltimore, Gervonta Tank Davis. So yeah, you like knockouts? Stay tuned the next couple of weeks. Yeah, and good job by Keyshawn this weekend. He got the job done. It was I thought Baranchek would have done a little bit better, but no, he was clearly overmatched. Keyshawn is a pretty good boxer. But yeah, he's not going to be in there with Tank Davis anytime soon because, I've been studying Bob Arum for the past 50 years since he's been in this. Well, I was like 12 or something. And, I've been studying for about 40. He's been in at 50, and I've been watching how he operates. He is not putting Keyshawn in there with Tank because Bob values those belts. Keyshawn will fight Shakur or Loma before he fight Tank because if he loses to one of them, Top Rank still has control of the belts. He'll fight Loma before he fight because Shakur is not Top Rank anymore. Pardon me. He'll fight Loma before he fight anybody because Bob will still have control of that belt. But he's not going to put it in there with Tank because there's too big of a chance that belt will leave Top Rank. Okay. So no, Bob ain't doing that. But number 10, we're going to go from 10 to 1, most knockouts. Okay. At number 10 is Peter Marr. He has 104 knockouts in his career. 104 knockouts. Right? He had 130 wins, 21 losses, 4 draws. Out of those 130 wins, 104 of them was knockouts. Incredible. I got to know that knockout rate. Damn. 80%. Not bad. Yeah, that's a lot of fights, but still 80%. You figure you got 130 fights and an 80% knockout rate. That's incredible. Peter Marr, also known as the Irish Giant, had tremendous knockout power and remained popular in the late 19th century. Marr ruled the heavyweight division in the 1890s with his incredible knockout capacity. His power punch was the sole weapon in his 80% victories. Before moving to the USA, Marr was a superstar in Ireland. The boxing legend beat Steve O'Donnell in 1895 to win the heavyweight championship. Okay. Coming in at number 9, Sugar Ray Robinson himself with 109 knockouts. Okay. Sugar Ray, Mr. Pound for Pound himself, has 109 knockouts in his career. Didn't know that, did y'all? See? Mm-hmm. Now, the term pound for pound was created for Sugar Ray Robinson, okay, by sports writers to compare other boxers with him, irrespective of weight divisions. He lost only one fight in the first 11 years of his career before taking his first retirement, okay? Now, Sugar Ray Robinson has always remained one of the most influential figures in the boxing world. Throughout his career, he displayed a combination of speed, skills, and devastating punching ability, making him a formidable force in the ring. Robinson is widely regarded as the best pound-for-pound boxer in history. His career record is 174 wins, 19 losses, and 6 draws, 109 by way of knockout. The legacy of Sugar Ray Robinson is cemented by his multiple championship victories in the welterweight and middleweight divisions. He was on his way to winning at light heavyweight, but heat exhaustion. Only time he ever been stopped was by heat exhaustion, Sugar Ray Robinson. Didn't know he had 109 knockouts, did y'all? I didn't either. Tell you the truth. Incredible. That just makes him even more bigger. Mr. Pound for Pound, the greatest of all time, and the 9th most knockouts in history. Sugar Ray Robinson. I should have made him the pitcher for the subject. Okay. Number 8, George Ordwell has 114 knockouts in his career. These will all be way from back in the old days because nobody's going to even approach 100 knockouts because, like I said, they're not even going to have 100 fights in their career anymore. George Ordwell has 114 knockouts in his career. 114. Wow. Now, his record was 162 wins, 39 losses, 12 draws with that 114 knockouts. George Ordwell was known for his exceptional skills, versatility, and knockout power. Okay? Ordwell is among the most outstanding British boxers ever to enter a boxing ring. He beat top boxing veterans of his era, like Billy Bird, Jack Kidberg, Norman Snow, and Charlie Parkin. Ordwell is regarded as one of the greatest welterweight fighters in boxing history. And he beat Billy Bird. That's significant because when we get to number 1 on his list, you're going to hear Billy Bird again. Okay? Number 7, Kid Azteca. And 8 and 7 is a tie. They both have 114. Okay? Azteca also has 114 knockouts in his career. And he has a record of, that's a 59.38% because he had so many fights, okay? Um, Kid Azteca won multiple Mexican welterweight championships and won USA Texas State welterweight title reign. See, back in those days, we didn't have WBA, WBC, all of those, and a lot of states had their own titles, right? And like the Mexican, California, different areas had their titles because we didn't have any kind of. We had the New York State Athletic Commission and the NBA, but that was it. And it was better because each division had one champion. Most times the New York State Athletic Commission and the NBA recognized the same champion. Those were the two big ones. You didn't have 65 champions in each division, okay? Okay, but Kids Azteca. The Mexican legend had an incredible knockout record because of his precise and powerful punches and an adaptable ability to exploit his opponent's weaknesses. Azteca is among the 5 boxers who fought for 4 decades, okay? He had very few knockouts in his early 30 fights, but had then developed skills to deliver hard punches. Azteca has a career record of 192 wins, 47 losses, 11 draws, 114 knockouts. At number 6, we got Clarence Reeves. And we also got Thomas Hill in the building. What's up, T. Hill? A little highlights of boxing history today is the 10 most knockouts in boxing history, all over 100. And like I was telling everybody else, all 10 of those records are safe because nobody is not just going to get 100 knockouts anymore. Nobody's even going to fight 100 times. So how can they get 100 knockouts? But 100 knockouts was incredible when they were fighting 200 times in a career. Yeah, that's a lot of knockouts. But Clarence Reeves is at number 6 with 118. We're going from 10 to 1, okay? And Clarence had a 58.38 knockout rate because he had so many fights, Calls him the Alabama Kid, right? Widely known as the Alabama Kid, Reeves remained popular throughout his career in the USA and Australia. Reeves used his 193 centimeter reach, I don't know what that is in inches, to his full potential and hit his opponents with solid fists to knock them out. He started his career as a flyweight boxer in 1928, but later moved to the middleweight and light heavyweight divisions. That's a long range from flyweight all the way to light heavyweight. What's that, 112 to 175? Wow, that's a wide range there. But that was kind of common back then too. Some people went all the way from that to lightweight to light heavyweight. So yeah, it wasn't uncommon to do that. Yeah, but he went from flyweight all the way to light heavyweight through his career, right? And Reeves faced top boxers like Ron Richards, Jimmy Brown, and Gorilla Jones. Yeah, Gorilla was a bad man. At number 5, Buck Smith had 121 knockouts in his career. He had a 66% knockout ratio. Buck Smith, okay? And Buck had 183 wins, 20 losses, 2 draws, right? Along with his 121 knockouts. But never won a championship. All those 121 knockouts, none of them was up champions, apparently. You never won a championship. That's crazy. Buck Smith was speedy with his punches and maintained a good knockout ratio, even fighting with everyone in random fights. Took on everybody. Had one of them Oscar resumes. Also known as Tombstone Smith. Tombstone Smith. Ooh. You better be able to knock him out. Your nickname, Tombstone. Damn. He remains on the road for more than 2 decades because he never rejected any fight in his career. Went to their homes and knocked them out, their home states and knocked them out. Tombstone achieved an incredible feat by winning 2 fights in 2 states. Get this. Let me start over. He deserved that nickname. Tombstone Smith won 2 fights in 2 different states on the same day. Okay? Went over here to this state and knocked somebody out there went to another boxer state and knocked him out too. Same day. Okay? Tombstone. Now, although he faced many lesser-known opponents, he still won fights against Kirkland Lang, Tim Bennett, Brad Billings, and Robert Juan Gilla. Okay? Winding down. Number 4. Sam Lightfoot made it. Sam Lightfoot had 126 knockouts in his career. He's known as the greatest fighter to never win a championship. And his knockout rate was 71%. 70.7, but I'm rounding it off. 71% for Sam Lightfoot. Okay? Bad man. Sam Lightfoot won the colored heavyweight championship and colored middleweight championships. He went from middleweight to heavyweight. Told you it was common to cover those wide ranges back in them days. Especially if you were a black fighter, because, you know, the white fighters wasn't fighting you for championships and didn't really want to fight you at all, really. So you had to really jump around just to get fights, to make a living out of it, you know. So he went from middleweight all the way to heavyweight. Like I said, the other guy went from flyweight to light heavyweight, 112 to 175. Incredible. Sam Lightfoot was a black Canadian boxer known for his fast-paced punches. He was among the top 10 Canadian boxers of all time. The Ring magazine ranked him number 2 in the 100 greatest punches in boxing history. Number 2, okay? He remained one of the boxers who faced racism during his career and was denied many championship opportunities. His overall career record was 178 wins, 30 losses, 38 draws, along with 126 knockouts. You know, those 38 draws, a lot of those are really wins, but, you know, with the racism, a lot of times the black fighter beat the white fighter, but they didn't want to give it to the black fighter, so they would just call it a draw. Why 38 draws, you know, that's ridiculous. Lightfoot was called the greatest boxer nobody knows by ESPN. Lightfoot had an unfortunate end to his boxing career when he lost his eyesight completely in his last fight. Okay. Coming in at number 3, Young Stribling, right? And Young Stribling has 29 knockouts in his career. 129. That's a lot of knockouts. Okay. And his percentage was 57%. Okay. Young Stribling. He won many Georgia state titles, but never won any major boxing championships. Young Stribling was nicknamed the king of the cane breaks. Stribling explored all the weight divisions from featherweight to heavyweight. He fought in every division from 126 to heavyweight and won multiple fights with his incredible knockout power. His exciting fighting style, outstanding knockout punches, and willingness to take on all comers made him a beloved fighter in the early 20th century. Stribling had a brilliant career record of 224 wins, 13 losses, 14 draws, 129 by way of knockout. He faced legendary boxers like Max Smelling, Primo Carnera, Jack Sharkey, 3 huge names, all former champions from that era, early 20s. Coming in at number 2, that's the face-up today's highlight, Archie Moore. Archie had 132 knockouts in his career. 132 knockouts. 71% knockout rate for Archie. Okay? Now, Archie Moore holds the record for the longest reigning light heavyweight championship all time, from 1952 to 1962. Okay? I think it was like, because when he started, Archie went 16 years before he got a shot. Archie broke at the professional level at 23 years old. He was 39 before he got his first title shot. So once Archie got that shot, won that title, Archie kept it for 10 years because Archie was like, I can't lose this man because I don't know when they're going to give me another shot. 10 years, that's the longest reign to this day. 10 straight years. Moore was inducted into the International Hall of Fame in 1990. Archie Moore was one of the world's complete boxers with versatility. He had great defense, a strategic mind, and an extraordinary punching speed to stun his opponents. His career record of 186 wins, 23 losses, 10 draws, 132 knockouts spoke volumes about his skills in the ring. He remained a top attraction in his career spanning 3 decades, where he also held the light heavyweight championship. Moore remained a successful trainer for famous boxers like Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, and Bob Foster. He was ranked number 21 by Ring Magazine for the top 30 greatest boxers, number 21. And ranked number 1 for the most knockouts of all time is Billy Bird, 139, just 7 in front of Archie, the old mongoose. Well, he was the mongoose, then he stayed around so long, 28 years, almost a 30-year career, they start calling him the old mongoose. Somebody said it was like 70 when he retired, but he wasn't that old. He was in his 50s, though. Because he didn't win the title till he was 39, and he held it 10 years, so he was damn near 50 when he finally lost it, 49 years old. And Archie fought like 30 fights after he was 50, I think, and only lost once, okay? But Billy Bird is number 1, 132 knockouts in his career. And Billy Bird's career record was 260 wins, 73 losses, 20 draws, 139 by way of knockout. Billy Bird has been the greatest knockout artist ever since his retirement in 1948. No one has broken his record, and no one ever will. Almost all boxing experts believe that his record would never be broken because today's fighters do not fight as often as the boxers of Bird's era. Billy Bird was one of the most active boxers in the world, and he fought in 356 fights during his career. 356, okay? That's our little boxing highlight for today. Now let's talk about this raffle, and then we're going to talk about some of the greatest pound-for-pound boxers of the past 30 years, okay? But first, let's do this real quick, because this thing is 2 weeks away.
In Brooklyn, New York, during the Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach fight week, Friday, February 28th from 8 p.m. until midnight. If you're planning on being in town for the fight, pull up on us at the meet and greet. Tickets can be purchased via Cash App at JBT Network 1. That's JBT Network 1. There is an early bird special for $20 from now until February the 1st. Then it's $30. That covers entry and food. There will also be a cash bar, so make sure you get your tickets early. Only a limited number of tickets will be sold, so make sure that you are in that number. Several door prizes will be given away. For more information, call 410-322-4365. That's 410-322-4365. And have a great JBT day. Brought to you by the JBT, Curtis Sewell, Treasurer.
Okay, thank you, Big Dre. All right. Yeah, that's 2 weeks from Friday. No, 1 week from Friday. And the drawing for the ticket is this Friday, so we'll get your ticket. $10 for one, $25 the block special for 3, and then you get your ticket to the meet and greet for $30. You're automatically in the drawing. You know, out of $30, you get into the meet and greet, the raffle, good food, door prizes. We're gonna have some trivia questions. I'm in charge of thinking of the trivia questions, so they're gonna be hard, okay? So yeah, but pull up if you're in the New York area that weekend. It's going to be a great time and meet some of these big wig JBT people. Might get to meet Thomas Hill. All right, that's worth the price of admission right there. Meet the legendary Thomas Hill. Wow, I ain't gonna miss it. Okay, so the best pound for pound punchers of the past 30 years, back to like the 90s up to now. Mostly former guys, okay? Mostly former. Okay, speaking of pound for pound, how about them 3? Right there. Inoue, Usyk, Bud Crawford. Okay, how's everybody today? Good fighting this weekend. I thought Mervin Czech would have done a little better than he did, man. Wow. Keyshawn made short work of him. Yeah. But hey, the big one is this Saturday. We're in fight week for it, the big rematch. 7 championship fights on the card, man. Some people calling this the best, greatest fight card ever. Ever. It's definitely a good one. The last crescendo from the yard season. Turkey Alley Sheep joint. Okay. I think Eddie Hearn involved in it, Okay, but let's go. Now, let me I'll drop this a little bit. Miss Cass is sick. Yeah. She deleted Crush comment. He's trying to get the other guy out of here talking about where the white girls at. And Crush was collateral damage. But he understands. Crush is an understandable, real person. He's an understandable guy. Yeah. Okay. Great show this morning too, Crush. I agree with you 100% too. Bob Father ain't putting no Keyshawn in there with Tank. I've been watching Bob Father for the last 40 years. He ain't doing that. There's too big of a chance of that belt leaving Top Rank. If Keyshawn getting there with Tank, so Bob ain't doing that. Bob loved to control those belts. If anybody, it'd be Loma, because of all the other three that had belts, Loma is the only other Top Rank fighter. So that'll be the first one he faces. Watch what I'm saying. And Keyshawn got the WBO too. That's always in Top Rank control, seems like WBO. So yeah, Crush, you're 100% correct on that. Bob ain't doing that. No way. But the best pound-for-pound boxers of the past 30 years. Okay. Just Do Boxing pulled up. What's up, Just Do? 4 p.m. The Voice. I can always tell you, balanced, unbiased boxing talk. You get the both sides of the equation and you get it right. 100% right. Everybody gets their Just Do over there, Just Do Boxing. 4 p.m. That's what I'm warming you up for, okay? This is going to be a long one, too. This one going to take you right up to Just Do's doorstep. Okay, and then we're going on in. We're going to knock first. Hit that like button. And we're going on up in there. 4 p.m. But now let's talk about the best pound-for-pound boxers of the past 30 years. But salute Just Do Boxing. Okay. Now, pound for pound is a term used in combat sports like boxing and MMA to compare the skills and effectiveness of fighters across different weight classes, right? Now, the idea is to evaluate who the best fighters are regardless of their weight by considering their skills, accomplishments, and overall performance against their peers. Now, here's a breakdown of what pound for pound entails, okay? Here's a breakdown. Now, number one, skill level. Pound for pound rankings take into account a fighter's abilities, including now like MMA striking, grappling, boxing, defense, overall fight IQ, ring generalship, all that stuff. Achievements. Number two, achievements. Fighters are often compared based on their titles, records, and how they have performed against other high-level opponents, right? Number three, weight class. Now, since fighters compete in specific weight classes, pound-for-pound rankings allow for a broader comparison. For example, a smaller fighter with exceptional skills might be considered better than a larger fighter who has less success, who has had less success, right? Okay. Now, and some more pound for pound. Go back a little ways, some more pound for pound people. We got Smoking Joe Frazier, Floyd, Roy Jones, Roberto Duran, the Pac-Man. Okay. Now, number four, imaginary scenario. Now, the term pound for pound often implies a hypothetical scenario whereas fighters could compete against each other at a common weight, emphasizing the idea of skill over size. Okay, that's important. Emphasizing skill over size. Okay, like you might have like a welterweight and a heavyweight. You know, you're not worrying about the heavyweight being the bigger guy. You're looking at the skill. You're looking at it like they're the same weight, and the pound for pound ranking should go by the skills. Skill over size, okay? And number five, subjective nature. Now, pound for pound rankings are inherently subjective and can vary among fans and analysts based on personal opinions and criteria. Overall, the concept of the best pound for pound fighters serves as a way to appreciate and rank fighters' skills and achievements without the limitations of weight divisions, okay? Now, over the past century, the way in which the term pound for pound has been discussed in boxing circles has changed. Now, in boxing, pound for pound has been used for over a century. One early example was when the Evening Star newspaper in 1906 described boxer Batley Nelson as the fighter of the century, pound for pound. So they were using it for way back as then. Okay. Now, but by the middle of the 20th century, the term pound for pound became heavily linked with Sugar Ray Robinson in recognition of his outstanding talent, despite being too small to compete in the more lucrative and popular heavyweight division. Okay? To make sure nobody come in. Okay. Now, Robinson is still considered the best fighter ever, pound for pound, right now in 2025. His timing, speed, reflexes, rhythm, his body, everything about his boxing skills were top level. Now, traditionally, the term pound for pound was generally applied by visualizing two fighters being the same weight and based on talent and skill, which boxer would be victorious, okay? In 1989, the Ring magazine began producing a monthly pound for pound top 10 list, adding more depth and organization to the topic. Now, one fan might appreciate, the pound for pound is very subjective. One fan might appreciate the technical side of the sport, while another might marvel at the brutality of a clean knockout. Another person might appreciate long reigning champions, while someone else might only focus on the resumes. No pound for pound list is right or wrong, okay? That is big sentence right there. No pound for pound list is right or wrong, okay? They all are 100% subjective. Currently, most boxing sites, experts, and fans consider Terence Crawford the pound for pound number one fighter in the sport of boxing, okay? Alexander Usyk and Naoya Inoue also get selected on a regular basis as pound for pound number ones. Now, historically, when considering the best pound for pound fighter in the world, analysts often attempted to visualize fighter A being the same weight as fighter B and gauge who would win in a one-on-one matchup. Now, the emphasis these days is generally based on a more structured breakdown, right? A relatively recent opposition that the boxers in question has faced. Now, having said that, if a pound for pound number one has impressively defeated a string of top-notch opponents, most would still favor him to beat any fighter in the world If viewed in the traditional, imagine they were the same weight manner. Okay? Yeah. Pound for pound. Everybody's the same weight. Who has the best skills? That's it in a nutshell, you know? And like I said, the most important sentence I've read so far today is no pound for pound list is right or wrong. 100% subjective. Okay? Yours not right or wrong, mine's not right or wrong, ESPN's not right or wrong, BoxRec's not right or wrong. They all subjective, opinionated. No pound for pound list is right or wrong. Okay. Now let's talk about 25 of the best pound for pound boxes of the past 30 years. Okay. 25 of the best of the past 30 years. Now, boxing is not on the same popularity plane as it was during past generations. But this era has produced plenty of quality boxers across most weight divisions, some who stack up well all time. So today we're going to take a look at some of the boxers who peaked pound for pound over the past 30 years, okay? First, Kostya Tszyu. Just a little brief talk about him, that's all. Kostya Tszyu is first. Kostya Tszyu. Father of Tim. Haven't heard too much about Tim lately. Since that loss, that bloodbath against Fandora. Has he fought since then? I don't think so. You remember the bloodbath him and Fandora had? Was it last year? Yeah. Early last year. Yeah, I don't think Tim's been back in there since then. That was bad. He was trying to get right back in there in August against Virgil. I knew that wasn't happening. That was way too soon. Yeah, Tim Tszyu. Kostya Tszyu. Kostya Tszyu completed his career with a record of 25 knockouts, 80.6% knockout rate, right? Now, he was a fearsome puncher, right? Tszyu stood as the 140-pound kingpin for many years in the 1990s and 2000s. He was a junior welterweight. He won a junior welterweight belt in his 14th professional fight. And across two separate reigns, he made 14 title defenses, right? He was a Russian who became an Australian citizen. Tszyu bludgeoned Zab Judah in 2001, right? And to become a 3-time belt champion, right? And he also beat up faded Julio Cesar Chavez a year prior to that, right? Now, both Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Shane Mosley came through the 140-round rankings during Tszyu's run. But neither one of those fights materialized. Tszyu didn't fight, neither one of them fought to. And Tszyu did not let his skill set deteriorate much, retiring after a 2005 loss to Ricky Hatton. Tim Tszyu. Okay? Winky Wright. We're just going to talk about 25 boxers from the past 30 years, briefly. Winky Wright. Wait a minute. That's the Prince. Here's Winky. Winky Wright. Winky had 58 fights in his career. He won 51, lost 6, had 1 draw, 25 knockouts for Winky. Okay? Now, Winky was one of the premier defensive fighters in modern boxing. He used that tactical prowess to dominate the junior middleweight division for many years between the late 1990s and mid-2000s. He was a late bloomer, and Winky furthered Shane Mosley's mid-career swoon by beating him twice in 2004. And exiting the division on top, right? Right then, routed the rapidly fading Felix Trinidad en route to a middleweight title fight. he probably deserved to win in 2006. It was a draw with Jermaine Taylor, okay? And Winky retired as one of the all-time greats in the 154 pound division. Winky right there, yeah. And he probably should have got that nod against Jermaine Taylor, but they called it a draw. The next is the Prince Nassim Hamed. Everybody hit the like button, appreciation button, and the JBT. Okay. Prince Nassim Hamed is next. Now, the Prince had 36 wins, 36 wins, only one loss in his career. 31 by way of knockout, right? That's an 86.1% knockout rate for the Prince. Yeah, the Prince had power. Showman, too. Riding flying carpets, motorcycles to the ring. Mm-hmm. I saw that flying carpet. I still don't know how he did it. I was trying to find that picture, but I couldn't find it. I found it, but I couldn't get it right. But yeah. Now, the Prince took Muhammad Ali's showman antics to another level, right? He was one of the most unique superstars of the 1990s. Now, while his flashy entrances and in-ring agility generated publicity, Hamed could also crack. Blessed with uncanny knockout power, Hamed held a featherweight belt for 6 years and defended it 15 times successfully. 15 times. Third most in featherweight history, right? Some analysts referred to Hamed's American debut against Kevin Kelly in 1997 as the featherweight version of Hagler Hearns. Remember that one, him and Kevin Kelly? A lot of analysts call that the featherweight version of Hagler Hearns. Now, though he was done by age 28, the Prince left an original imprint on the boxing timeline. Yeah, Prince Hamed. Mm-hmm. Only lost one time in his career. Got to do that with you. But yeah, Prince only had one loss. Mm-hmm. These are some of the 25 of the top pound-for-pound fighters of the last 30 years. Next is Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto. There's Miguel. Andrew K. Nas. Andrew K. What's up, Andrew K.? He said Nas copied Chris Eubank, who was active at that time. Yeah, he sure was, Andrew K. Salute. Good to see you, Andrew K. Cast Sports, the box story, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Bringing you all of that boxing history. Today, 25 of the top pound-for-pound stars of the last 30 years. Miguel Cotto. Now, Miguel went 41 wins, 6 losses, 33 knockouts in his career. That's an 80.4% knockout ratio for Miguel. Now, Miguel Cotto is the only Puerto Rican 4 division champion, right? He was a beloved figure in boxing for many years. Cotto's career is defined by more losses against a vicious opponent. Docket headlined his career is headlined by Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao, right? But he achieved plenty now. His 2008 loss to Antonio Margarito looms as controversial due to Margarito's subsequent suspension and the likely legal beating Cotto took that night, right? And that likely halted his rise. Now, Cotto avenged his defeat in 2011 to Margarito, and he said that was the most satisfying win of his career, right? And he moved up to stop a faded Sergio Martinez for the lineal middleweight title in 2014. But the menacing body puncher was never quite the same after that loss to Margarito, where Margarito had those loaded hand wraps. He was busted going into the fight against Sugar Shane, remember? Yeah, loading his hand wraps up. Mm-hmm. But Miguel Cotto, only Puerto Rican 4 division world champion. Yep. Salute, Andrew K. Good to see you. Hope to see you again. Hope you stick around and enjoy the show, bro. How about Vitaly Klitschko? Vitaly Klitschko. Now, Vitaly was 45-2. with 41 knockouts, 91.1% knockout rate. Now, Vitaly really could crack. They always say he fought in one of the weakest eras in heavyweight history, but that's not his fault. He fought the names that was out there at that time. It's not his fault who fought in his era, right? And he still had a 91.9% knockout rate. That's like getting 9 out of 10 of them up out of there, right? Now, he was the more rugged of the two Klitschko brothers, right? Vitaly was one of the most dominant heavyweights in boxing history. You know, looking at the era he fought in and what he did. He only lost 2 fights, and he lost those 2. One because of a shoulder injury against Chris Bird. He had to stop. He was way ahead on all the cards. And cuts versus Lennox Lewis, where he was ahead on all the cards when the stoppages came. So this man probably should have been undefeated, right? He was winning both fights at the time of the stoppage. Now he's Ukrainian. He won the other 45 fights of his career and enjoyed a 2-title reign run alongside brother Vladimir atop the heavyweight division. The older Klitschko barely lost a round, albeit against, like I said, mostly suspect opposition. They said he fought during the weakest era, but like I said, it's not his fault. Barely lost a round in his career. They called that era of the heavyweight division the Klitschko era because of him and his brother. And were it not for injuries that induced a 4-year retirement hiatus in 2004, Vitaly might have ended up being regarded as the best heavyweight of his era. Okay, still in the conversation. Jose Chavez. What's happening, Jose Chavez? Yeah, Canelo is on this list. Yeah, he's on this list, Jose. We're talking about 25 of the best pound-for-pound fighters of the last 30 years, okay? Let's salute Jose Chavez. Okay, next is Joe Calzaghe. Joe Calzaghe. Here's Joe. Now, Joe was 46-0 during his career with 32 by way of knockout, right? Now, he was king of the super middleweight division for nearly 10 years, right? He was a Welshman. He was a Welshman. He finished his career unbeaten at 46-0. Now, he reigned in relative obscurity, at least in the United States, from 1998 to 2007, before outpointing Mikhail Kessler to unify the 168-pound division. Okay? Now, Calzaghe defended his belt a division record 21 times and ended his career on an exemplary note by defeating Bernard Jones and a declining Roy Jones at light heavyweight. In his only American appearances, those 2 fights, yeah. Now, Hopkins and Roy Jones' ages aside, Calzaghe's 2008 American tour represented a strong way to leave the sport. Yeah, that's how he left. Came over there and beat those 2 and rolled out, retired. D for the win in the building. What's up, D for the win? Salute. Good to see you, bro. We talking about 25 of the top pound-for-pound fighters of the past 30 years, going back to like the 90s. Mostly former fighters, but you know, we got a couple standout active fighters made the list too. But next is Eric Morales. You talking about last 30 years, you got to put Eric on there. It is Eric Morales. Like I was saying this morning on Crush Show, everybody always talking about the next 4 kings, Ryan Tank and Devin Teal or whoever. But if you want to talk about the second 4 kings, you got the featherweight, Eric Morales, Juan Manuel Marquez, Manny Pacquiao, and Marco Antonio Barrera. That was the really second 4 kings at featherweight around the 2000s. And the only matchup that didn't happen in that was Morales and Marquez. All those guys, unlike these fake 4 kings they talking about, Ryan and Tank, and no disrespect now, but them 4, Ryan, Tank, Devin, and Teal, Ryan's the only one that's fought any of the other ones, right? All these guys fought each other except for Morales and Marquez. Morales, Pacquiao, Barrera, Marquez had all those matchups except for Morales and Marquez. Those are the true second four kings at Fed 126, okay, 2000s. But what y'all think about that? But Eric Morales. Now Eric ended up 52 wins, 9 losses, 36 knockouts for Eric. Okay. Morales. Okay. All right, you got to go, bro. You know, I don't have a whole bunch of patience. I'm not the kind. Don't block them and all. I'm the kind block their asses. Goodbye. Go and watch Canelo fight. That's your hero. The biggest duck in the history of boxing. That's his hero. Let me talk about Canelo. The biggest duck in the history of boxing. I ain't mess with him on that. But that tank is the queen shit. He got to go, man. Let's see you. Let the doorknob hit you. But the good Lord split your ass. Okay, next is Eric Morales. Did I talk about Eric? No. Yeah, Eric was a Mexican fighter, Mexican brawler. He ended up on the short end of the epic trilogy with Marco Antonio Barrera. But he is one of the generation's best wins, a 2005 decision over Manny Pacquiao. Now, the first 4-division Mexican champion, Morales was, he defeated Barrera in the countryman's 2000 thriller, okay? He took a super bantamweight belt off Hall of Famer Daniel Zaragoza and defended it 9 times before winning straps at 126, 130, and 140 pounds, right? Called him El Turbo. He was done as an elite fighter around age 30, but he packed plenty of action into an International Boxing Hall of Fame career. Yeah, I thought I had blocked that guy. There you go. Okay, now, where was it? Before I was so rudely interrupted. Eric Morales. Vasyl Lomachenko. I told you to put a couple active guys on here. Vasyl Lomachenko. Okay, Andrew K says a young Derek Chisora was close to defeating Vitali and retired instead of rematching Chisora. Okay. Yeah, I remember that. Andrew K. Okay, Vasily Lomachenko makes the list. Some of the top pound-for-pound fighters of the past 30 years. Lomachenko is currently 18-3 with 12 knockouts. Now, operating at a higher skill level than many of his peers, Lomachenko is a 3-division world champion who was chosen, like Pacquiao, to campaign in 1 or 2 classes above his natural weight. Lomachenko at 126, probably undefeated. Yep, that's right. I said it. Lomachenko at 126 is probably undefeated. Now, at his peak, Lomachenko made 4 straight opponents quit, right? And the former 396-1 amateur outclassed multiple division belt holders and resided as the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter for multiple years. Okay? Now, Loma ran into a size issue in a 2020 loss to Teofimo Lopez. And he has to overcome the size disadvantage every time he stepped into the ring at 135, lightweight. He also passed on recollecting his belts that he lost to Teofimo prior to George Kambosos' fight that Devin Haney won. Instead, he chose to be in his native Ukraine after the war started. Okay, yeah, he could have been undisputed, but he chose to go to the war. And I thought he was undisputed. I thought he beat Devin. But the judges didn't think so. So, that's who counts. Melanin Queen 27 in the building. What's up, Melanin Queen? Hit that link she got in there. That meet and greet raffle we was talking about earlier. That will take you straight to the Cash App. Okay? And if you can't attend, just still make a donation. It's going to a good cause. But, try to get up there to New York and attend the meet and greet. There'll be some famous people in there, man. Mm-hmm. Just do boxing, J Hardcore, the legendary Thomas Hill. Let's talk fashion. Going to be some of the small potatoes of the JBT, like Cass Sports in there too, right? Okay. Miss Cass going to be there, another big wig. Mm-hmm. So pull up on us. But your Melanin Queen got all the information you need in there. Okay. And that's, I can't believe it's 307. That's a week from Friday. No. Yeah, a week from this Friday. Because the drawing for the ticket is Friday. And we're having a joint show with the JBT creators tonight at 8 p.m. I believe it's on J Hardcore's platform. Tonight at 8, join us. We're going to be talking about the meet and greet, the raffle. Okay.
In another meet and greet, this time in Brooklyn, New York, during the Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach fight week, Friday, February 28th from 8 p.m. until midnight. If you're planning on being in town for the fight, pull up on us at the meet and greet. Tickets can be purchased via Cash App at JBT Network 1. That's JBT Network 1. There is an early bird special for $20 from now until February the 1st. Then it's $30. That covers entry and food. There will also be a cash bar, so make sure you get your tickets early. Only a limited number of tickets will be sold, so make sure that you are in that number. Several door prizes will be given away. For more information, call 410-322-4365. That's 410-322-4365. And have a great JBT day. Brought to you by the JBT, Curtis Sewell, Treasurer.
Okay, so pull up a week from Friday. The drawing will be this Friday on the Rise Podcast at 9 p.m. Joint JBT Content Creators Show tonight at 8 p.m. on J Hardcore's platform. Okay? Next is Canelo Alvarez, 25 of the best pound-for-pound fighters of the past 30 years. Canelo Alvarez, currently 62 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 knockouts. Now, taking advantage of his status as the Western Hemisphere's top in-ring attraction, Canelo sports a spectacular record. He beat Miguel Cotto at middleweight, actually a catchweight, took Gennady Golovkin's belt, and stopped Sergey Kovalev at 175. The popular Mexican also became the first boxer to be undisputed at super middleweight in the 4-belt era. And he did some good work at 154 also. Now, draw a scorecard from one of the judges in his loss to Floyd Mayweather Jr. and the draw against Triple G shows that favorable judging has played a role in Canelo's rise, okay? Definitely played a role. 115, 113 to Bivol. Come on, man. That was like 118 to 110 or something. A 2002 loss to Dimitri Bivol stung, but the 34-year-old icon will still have his pick of opponents to pad his legacy. Okay? Terrence Crawford. Bud Crawford. Now, Bud is currently 41 wins, no losses, 31 by the knockout route. Now, for accumulated pound for pound #1 honor in the post-Mayweather world could be awarded, Crawford would claim it. The 4-division champion has barely been tested, dominating at lightweight, junior welterweight, and welterweight. And he was successful last year in his first fight at junior middleweight, winning the WBA title, which he currently holds. But the versatile Nebraskan ran into trouble with the political divide that boxing brings. He hasn't been a major pay-per-view draw, nor was he aligned with the promotional stable most of the top welterweights from this period chose, right? He wasn't aligned with them. Now, Sean Porter crossed over and battled Crawford, and Bud finally got that elusive Earl Spence fight. But, though largely out of his control, Crawford's resume could dock him historically, okay? Just is what it is. Gennady Golovkin. These are some of the top pound-for-pound stars of the past 30 years. Gennady Golovkin, Triple G. 42 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 37 knockouts. 88% knockout rate. His only 2 losses are those to Canelo. Now, Golovkin has made the most of a truncated time in the limelight, right? He spent his 20s in relative obscurity, before breaking out in his HBO debut, which was a 5th-round knockout of Grzegorz Proksa in 2012. Now, Triple G defended his middleweight title a record time, 20 times, right? His otherworldly power, like I said, 88% career knockout ratio, dissuaded rivals from facing him at his peak. But the popular Kazakh still compiled wins over all comers, including Kell Brook and Daniel Jacobs. Now, waiting out his rival, Canelo capitalized on the 8-year age gap. In the view of most, Triple G should either be up 2-1 or 1-1 with 1 draw against Canelo, not 0-2-1. But scorecards went to the popular Mexican. How much will that disputed trilogy define Triple G's legacy? Good question. SOG, Andre Ward, SOG. 32-0, 16 knockouts. Okay. Now, Ward's career arc makes his ranking difficult, right? He became a top-tier fighter after obliterating the Super 6 super middleweight tournament, culminating in a Carl Froch 2011 decision win. He usurped Manny Pacquiao at #2 on some pound-for-pound lists in 2012. But promotional issues caused Ward to miss the better part of 2 years, perhaps his would-be apex. Now, he was given a decision most felt he did not deserve over Sergey Kovalev, remember, before beating the Russian in the rematch. But instead of making up for lost time, Ward abruptly retired and never came back, right? The Oklahoma talent left some legacy points on the table, no doubt. Yeah, abruptly retired and never came back. Now, the other brother, Vladimir Klitschko. We just talked about him Friday, remember? Vladimir Klitschko. Terrell Cameron in the building. Well, Melanie Queen got timed out. What? Did I do it? No, Jose Chavez. No, I don't think Melanie Queen. She timed somebody out. She didn't get timed out. Yeah. Yeah, Melanie Queen timed somebody out. No. Wait. We have to call it an FBI investigation if Melanie Queen get timed out. Damn. Yeah, man. Yeah, Terrell, I think she timed somebody out. Yeah, she didn't get timed out. Yeah. And if Melanie Queen timed somebody out, they deserve to be timed out. Okay. That's the greatest moderator in the history of moderation. But salute Terrell. Yeah, I was getting ready to call the FBI and Melanie Queen got timed out. We got to do a full-fledged investigation on that. Okay, but yeah, Vladimir Klitschko is next up. Some of the top pound-for-pound fighters of the last 30 years. Now, Vladimir won 64 fights, lost 5. He had 53 knockouts. That's an 82.8% knockout ratio, too. Not bad, right? Now, he was technically sound, right? And he held the linear heavyweight title for almost 10 years. And he has the longest reign as heavyweight champion, longer than Joe Louis, but his is broken up into 2 reigns, whereas Joe Louis was consecutive. Vladimir got like 4,000 and some days total, but it's not consecutive, whereas Joe Louis is a consecutive. But Vladimir does have the longest reign, okay? He was linear heavyweight champion for almost 10 years. Now, while the division was not strong in his era, the Ukrainian jabbing machine dominated from 2006 to 2015, right? He responded to knockout losses to Corey Sanders and Lamont Brewster by linking up with legendary trainer Emmanuel Stewart, who effectively minimized his suspect chin, right? Now, Vladimir was not aesthetically inspiring, but he made 18 heavyweight title defenses, 3rd most in heavyweight history. And he enhanced his legacy exponentially in a loss to Anthony Joshua in 2017, Fight of the Year, okay? At 41 years of age, Vladimir showed he was not merely a product of weak competition. Vladimir Klitschko. Next is Tito, Felix Trinidad. Tito Trinidad. There's Tito. Tito Trinidad. Okay. Yeah, Terrell, he get ready to hurt something. He said, why would somebody time out Melanie Queen? Told you, man, somebody time out Melanie Queen, they in big trouble. Man, Terrell get ready to hurt something. I'm getting ready to get in touch with the FBI for an investigation. Yeah, that would be bad. Okay. Who's next? We just did Vladimir. Oh, Tito. Tito was 42-3 with 35 knockouts. He had an 83.3% knockout rate. Not bad. Not bad at all. A lot of Tito's knockouts came after he had got knocked down. Then he got up. That's why, if I was a trainer, I would tell my fighter, if you knock Tito down, you better make sure he stay down. Because if he get up, you better get on your bicycle. Yeah. Trinidad won a welterweight title at age 20 by a first-round knockout over Maurice Blocker in 1993. And he defended that title 15 times. Got it when he was 20 years old. That's second most in 147-pound history, right? And he did it over a 7-year period. Tito defeated the likes of Fernando Vargas, David Reed, and a kind of faded Pernell Whitaker, but he still beat him. But his 2 biggest fights featured struggles, right? Trinidad was given a disputed decision in a momentous 1999 matchup with fellow unbeaten Oscar De La Hoya, the Golden Boy. But the loser provided the blueprint to beat Trinidad, right? And Bernard Hopkins followed that blueprint and handily beat Tito, right? And Tito was favored against B-Hop. And that was for the middleweight title in 2001. And ending his time ended Tito's time as an elite fighter. B-Hop. Sugar Shane Mosley. Now we're down to like the top 10 or most, but Sugar Shane had a career record of 49 wins, 10 losses, 1 draw, 1 no contest, and 41 knockouts. That's 83.6% for Sugar Shane. You know, remember he had that drug situation in there. That's when the no contest came in. That remember, but 83.8%, 6% knockout rate, not bad, Sugar Shane. Now Moses' career featured plenty of peaks and valleys, but the highs positioned him for a time as the world's best fighter, right? Now Sugar Shane was a demon at lightweight. 8 title defenses, 8 knockouts. Sugar Shane was kind of he was kind of a little like weight bullying at lightweight too. I hate to say it, Sugar Shane, but I keep it 100. Probably should have been at 140. Yeah. But hey, he got down there and made it, so those what the rules say. You get down there and make 135, you can be whatever you want to be the next day. So hey, Sugar Shane was just following the rules. But he still was weight bullying. But anyway, he had 8 title defenses, 8 knockouts at lightweight. Then he climbed to the sports summit after winning a 2000 welterweight war with the Golden Boy against Oscar De La Hoya. However, the middle of Mosley's career brought tough sledding. An 0-4 combined mark versus Vernon Forrest and Winky Wright in 2003 steroid use affected Mosley's standing among the era's greats. But so does an upset whitewash of Antonio Margarito in 2009 to secure a 147-pound title at age 37. They put something on Antonio. That was when they found that it was before that fight when Antonio got busted. Remember? Was putting the stuff in his hand wraps. And Sugar Shane went in there and put a whooping on him. And Sugar Shane was 37 at that time, right? And Sugar Shane was an undisputed great. Man. In the International Boxing Hall of Fame, Sugar Shane Mosley. Bad man. Chocolatito. Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. There he is. Chocolatito on the right. Yep. Chocolatito. Chocolatito is I think he's still fighting. Currently 52 wins, 4 draws, 42 knockouts. 80.7% knockout rate for Chocolatito. Got some pop down there. Taking hold of the number 1 pound for pound spot as he became an HBO affiliated fighter in 2015. Chocolatito was well into his prime by the time viewers could see his offensive onslaughts. Chocolatito won titles in 4 divisions, minimum weight up to super flyweight, right? From 105 all the way up to 115, right? And he paired with Triple G on some all-action cards. Yeah, they put him and Triple G on a lot of cards together, yeah. That was a good 1-2 punch right there, too, remember? HBO. Now, after 2017 losses to Siscarat Sore Rumbersal, placed Chocolatito at a crossroads, he regained the 115-pound title and showed top form in a 2021 all-action loss to Juan Francisco Estrada. Okay? He lost the last fight, but I thought he won the first 2 of that trilogy year. The third fight shouldn't even have been necessary. But the judges didn't think so. That's what counts. Yeah, most felt Chocolatito won the Rivals rematch. I thought he won the first and second one. but the narrow defeat against an elite adversary further elevated his standing in the sport. Yeah. None of them were all of them were great fights. Yeah. All of them were great legacy type fights, if you ask me. Uh-oh, I done something. In case we go up the air, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Oh man. Oh, we didn't go. Okay. I don't know what I did, but I saved the show. Okay. Marco Antonio Barrera. There he is. There's Marco. One of the, if you want to say, a second four kings. It wasn't no Ryan Garcia and Devin and all them. It was Marco Antonio Barrera, Eric Morales, Manny Pacquiao, and Juan Manuel Marquez when they was coming through 126. Yeah, they had some battles, and the only match that didn't happen out of that was Morales and Marquez. We're gonna talk about that later too. I got some what ifs from this era at the end. What if certain things had happened? Like what if Mike Tyson had to beat Buster Douglas? Or what if Mike Tyson and George Foreman had a fought? We're gonna talk about that in a little while. Barrera won 67 fights, lost 7. He had 1 no contest, and he had 44 knockouts in his career. 44 knockouts. Okay. Yeah. Can't believe it's supposed to be 30. Now, known for legendary wars with Eric Morales, Barrera was also a crafty technician. Okay. Yeah. He could box too. He wasn't just no standing there, duke it out, fan friendly kind of guy. He was a technician. The revered Mexican won belts in 3 divisions and defended his 118-pound strap 12 times between 1995 and 2000. Barrera won 2 of the 3 fights with Morales, right? The final 2, right? And he deployed his technical acumen in front of a wide audience by ending Prince Nassim Hamed's featherweight run in 2001. Yeah, he put something on Hamed. Everybody was shocked by that one. He's then beat smaller champions, Paulie Ayala and Johnny Tapia. Now, while 0-3 against Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez, the baby-faced assassin compiled a quality resume. Yeah, fire resume. Ricardo Lopez. I keep doing that. There's okay. Ricardo. That's Barrera. Ricardo Lopez is next. Here's Ricardo Lopez. 51-0, 1 draw, 38 knockouts. He avenged that 1 draw he had. Yep, he avenged it. The most obscure name on this list, Lopez ruled divisions that do not see much stateside exposure. Yeah, for the most part, he ruled 105, but he did go to 108, and not too many Americans know anything about 105. Not too many, especially back then in the 90s. Yeah. Champions at minimum weight 105 and junior flyweight 108. Lopez finished his 17-year career unbeaten at 51-0 with 1 draw. And he avenged the non-win, that draw, which was a technical draw against Rosendo Alvarez. He avenged that in 1998. And guess what? Ricardo Lopez has never lost a fight in his life because he was also undefeated at amateur. Never lost a fight in his life. Okay? Maybe he lost some sparring or something, but as far as amateur professional fights, undefeated across the board. He's a Mexican boxer puncher. He won a 105-pound title in 1990 and defended it 21 times. He was almost champion for the entire decade of the 90s. He vacated in 99 to move up to flyweight. So him and Joe Louis would have been the only 2, but Joe Louis is still the only one for an entire decade because Ricardo chose to vacate and move up. I think he only missed by a few months. It's like October, November? I would have to go look and see, but yeah. Won in 1990, vacated in 99. 21 times. Small division fighters are not known for aging gracefully. But Finito dominated the 1990s and captured a junior flyweight belt at age 33. He defended that twice before retiring at age 35. But one knock on him, he never fought Michael Carvajal or Humberto Humberto Gonzalez. I forgot. Yeah, Humberto. Yeah, he never fought Michael Carvajal or Humberto, and they were both around those same divisions for years. I'm talking 10, 15 years. They was around the same weight division. Never fought neither one of them. That's the one knock on Ricardo. Never fought either one of them. Yeah. I'm not saying they would have beat him, but, it would have helped his legacy if he'd have fought him. But still in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. It didn't hurt him that much, okay? Didn't hurt him that much. Winding down now. We got a couple more. Juan Manuel Marquez is next. I went right past Juan Manuel. There's Juan Manuel, I think. Yeah, that's him. What's up, Juan Manuel? Now, Juan Manuel won 56 fights, lost 7, had 1 draw, 40 knockouts, okay? Now, he was avoided in his younger days. He made his 30s count. After winning his first title at age 31, Marquez snared belts in 3 more divisions. He went as high as welterweight. He defeated the likes of Barrera and Juan Diaz, but also lost to non-Hall of Famers Chris John and Freddie Norwood. Now, Marquez's legacy centers on his 4 Manny Pacquiao fights. He went 1 win, 2 losses, 1 draw in the series. Now, a judging error boosted Marquez to a draw in 2004, but he came close to beating Pacquiao in 2008 and 2011. Even as Marquez's 2012 knockout win came when he unveiled an improved physique at age 39. He pushed the Filipino sensation harder than anyone else ever did, right? And that knockout, man, I think Manny threw some kind of left hand and Marquez, Marquez was a devastating counterpuncher. He came with that overhand right, man, and Manny went down, lay there motionless. Yeah. Manny should have known about Marquez's counterpunching, man. I don't know how he got caught by that, but he did. I thought he was dead for a minute. But let me move on. Lennox Lewis. We only got a couple more. Lennox Lewis. There's Lennox. There's Lennox. Anybody come in? No. Ooh, the likes are getting up there. I got to get on Twitter and all that other stuff too. Yeah, Melanie Queen, he said you had got blocked. I said, what? I was getting ready to come down into the chat. Mm-hmm. I was getting ready to come down into the chat. Yes, I was. Lennox Lewis. Now, Lennox won 41, only lost 2 fights. He had 1 draw, and Lennox had 32 knockouts. That rate should be about 80-something. I don't know why I didn't do that. 78, not bad. 78% for Lennox. Okay. Yeah. Now, not an awe-inspiring heavyweight, Lennox nonetheless beat every fighter he ever faced. Although first fight losses to Oliver McCall and Hasim Rahman make Lewis's standing curious, he proved superior to Evander Holyfield once in a laughable draw. That was a laughably bad decision. And again in a victorious rematch before battering a washed-up Mike Tyson. Riddick Bowe ducked Lewis in the early 1990s. He ducked him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, say it again. Riddick Bowe ducked Lewis in the early 1990s. And Lennox trudged on as WBC champ for much of the decade. Lewis caught his top rivals at convenient times now, but with an elite jab and an imposing frame, he would have given them big trouble at their primes, okay? And getting Emmanuel Stewart was the best move he ever made in his career when he hired Emmanuel Stewart. Yeah, that was the best move Lennox ever made. The Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya. Yeah, there's the golden boy. Oscar. Oscar was 39-6 with 30 knockouts in his career. Oscar, okay? Now, against one of the strongest resumes in in any boxing history, not just modern, against one of the strongest resumes in boxing history, the Golden Boy became one of the most popular fighters ever. The sport's top draw between the Mike Tyson and Mayweather/Pacquiao eras, yeah, Oscar was right in between them, yeah. De La Hoya won titles in 6 divisions, second all time, from junior lightweight to middleweight, okay? He beat Julio Cesar Chavez, Pernell Whitaker, Fernando Vargas, and he yo-yoed in weight to fight Floyd Mayweather Jr., Manny Pacquiao, and Bernard Hopkins. Lost to all 3 of them, but he fought them. Now, De La Hoya's resume would look even better were it not for disputed decision losses to Felix Trinidad in 1999, whom he outlanded by 97 punches, and they gave it to Trinidad. And another disputed loss was against Sugar Shane Mosley, rematch in 2003, and he outlanded Sugar Shane by 94 punches. He outlanded Trinidad and Sugar Shane by almost 100 punches in those 2 fights, and and the judges gave him the loss, man. Now, no call for boxing is just some people hitting buttons, but by that much, it's got to be something to that, man. God damn, almost 100 punches. How can you outland somebody by almost 100 punches and not win? If it's a decision. I can see if you outland them by 500 punches and get knocked out, but a decision? Come on, man. I do not understand that. I do not understand that. Roy Jones Jr. Really winding down now. Roy Jones Jr. You find only one. What's up in the building? Good to see you. You find only one. What's happening? Yeah, we're just talking about some of the top pound-for-pound boxers of the last 30 years. Tomorrow is going to be the flyweight division. We're going to look at that history, some all-time greats, the current top 10, some big fights that happened there. Yeah, tomorrow. But right now, Roy Jones Jr. Roy was 66-10 with 47 knockouts for his career. Now, athletically, no one on this list matches Roy Jones Jr. Untouchable at his peak, Jones conquered the middleweight, super middleweight, and light heavyweight divisions. He beat Bernard Hopkins, took apart James Toney, and eviscerated lesser-known men en route to winning Fighter of the Year, Fighter of the 1990s, not the year, Fighter of the decade, right? Jones became the first former middleweight champion to win a heavyweight title in 106 years. The last man to do it was Bob Fitzsimmons, like 1893 or something like that. Yeah, won middleweight and heavyweight, right? He beat John Ruiz for the heavyweight title in 2003. However, Roy fell from grace fast, losing the Antonio Tarver trilogy and being knocked out by Glenn Johnson. Jones never recovered. His peak was awesome, but his resume lacks the pop of the top 3 on this list, who we're going to talk about now. B-Hop is at 3. Bernard Hopkins. Yep. B-Hop, 55 wins, 8 losses, 2 draws, 2 no contests, and 32 knockouts. Now, Hopkins' executioner moniker didn't fit nearly as well as his 2010s, the Alien, did, right? He beat Felix Trinidad and Oscar De La Hoya past his 36th birthday, right? He defeated Antonio Tarver, Winky Wright, and Kelly Pavlik past his 40th birthday, right? And he held 2 light heavyweight belts at age 49. That's the record, 49. Shattering George Foreman's record of 45 as being the oldest. Now, Foreman still is the oldest heavyweight, but B-Hop is the oldest man at 49. B-Hop is Father Time's toughest modern sports adversary, yet Father Time had a problem with B-Hop. Father Time still undefeated, but man, B-Hop was trying to give Father Time that L. B-Hop came the closest to giving Father Time an L, man, I'm telling you. Yeah, he was B-Hop, Father Time's toughest modern sports adversary. That's all sports, not just boxing. Tom Brady was a tough one too, right? What was Tom, like 46 or something? I don't know. 40-something, still winning Super Bowls. But B-Hop held major titles 19 years apart and also made a record 20 straight middleweight title defenses, tied with Triple G for the record at 20, right? And B-Hop lost his 4 belts by a debated 2005 decision to Jermaine Taylor, right? He did not possess Roy Jones' raw talent, but B-Hop was a master craftsman, and he boasts a wildly unique resume. Bernard Hopkins. Manny at number 2 is Manny Pacquiao. Looking at some of the top fighters for the past 30 years. Yeah, the Pac-Man. Got to be up there. Now the Pac-Man finished with 72 fights. No, yeah, 72. He won 62, lost 8, had 2 draws, 39 knockouts. Not out as did Pac-Man, y'all pretty much know who number 1 is, right? But let's do Pac-Man, then we get to number 1. Oh, I made a mistake and showed y'all. Okay, Pac-Man. Yeah. Pacquiao lost to Mayweather, but his pound-for-pound case is just as good. Pac-Man beat legends at or close to their apexes. Juan Manuel Marquez, Marco Antonio Barrera, and Eric Morales. He beat more top welterweights than Floyd did, right? And Manny is not only boxing's lone 7th division champion, but it's only 8th division champion, too. Nobody else has won over 6. Oscar, right? Now, handing Keith Thurman his first loss at age 40 further bolsters Manny's resume, right? And legacy. A fighter collecting belts from flyweight, 112 pounds, to junior middleweight, 154 pounds. What is that? 42 pounds, right? Will probably never happen again. Pacquiao's 2009 wipeout of Miguel Cotto was perhaps the modern era's zenith, and it had Maypac occurred in 2010 rather than 2015. It's a fair and obvious question to ask. Would the outcome have been different? I don't think so. I think Pretty Boy might have stopped him. But who knows, though? We don't know that. They didn't have it in 2010. That's just me. And number 1 is Pretty Boy was a lot more offensive than Money, and Money dominated him for the whole fight. So Pretty Boy, if he didn't stop him, he would have had a better, more dominant time than Money, I think. But that's just me, right? Okay. And number 1 is Floyd. Floyd Money Mayweather. Top pound-for-pound fighter of the past 30 years. Al Booger in the building. What's up, AB? We're looking at the top 25 pound-for-pound fighters of the last 30 years, Al Booger. And there's number 1 on the screen right there. There's number 1. Pretty Boy / Money. Trained by Uncle Roger / father, Floyd Sr. Uncle Roger was the offensive guy. Floyd Sr. was the defensive guy, and was great in both careers. Okay? Now, 50-0, 27 knockouts. Undoubtedly boxing's financial kingpin, Mayweather possessed generational gifts and was an all-time great defender. He beat just about every notable foe in his era and was not seriously threatened by most. His risk management was notorious, however. After Pretty Boy Floyd proved historically dynamic in the 1990s and early 2000s, Money didn't always step into the ring with adversaries at their best. fighting top rivals Manny Pacquiao, took a Shane Mosley, Miguel Cotto, and others when it suited him. But Floyd faced 23 fighters who were world champions when he fought them. And that's the record throughout boxing history. Floyd's legacy is set at 50-0, okay? Yeah, his legacy is set. I got some what ifs, right? From the past 30 years. Like, for instance, the first what if is, let me see, what is it? What is the first what if? Okay. What if Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao had fought in 2010? Just talk about that. What if they fought in 2010? Now, the biggest super fight of the 21st century gave us a meeting between the two best fighters of their weight class, era, and pound for pound ranking at the time in 2015. The problem, however, was that Mayweather was 38 and Manny was 36 by that time, right? Now, the fact that the welterweight stars turned in a tentative technical fight instead of the go for broke classic many fans had expected left many wondering how different it would have looked when both were in their primes. Now, by 2010, Pacquiao had announced himself as a legitimate welterweight force with almost otherworldly speed and explosion from awkward angles. But you have to give Mayweather the respect he deserves as one of the greatest defensive strategies in boxing history. Now, Floyd's unbeaten career was defined by the championship adjustments he made each fight after taking an early snapshot of his opponent's style. The true question remains whether Mayweather would have been able to adjust with enough time to pull out a clear decision. Now, while Juan Manuel Marquez laid out a blueprint on how to time Pacquiao's bursts with hard counter shots, Floyd was rarely one to punch with his opponents and trade. He would have needed to find out ways to get off first and discipline Pacquiao, similar to what he expertly did with his lead hand, both early and late, when they actually fought in 2015. Now, Floyd was more aggressive offensively in 2010. So he likely wins in even more dominant fashion, okay? So what if, the next what if? What if Floyd had fought everyone his critics had wanted him to, okay? I mean, you can't please your critics, but what if? What if you could please your critics, okay? Now, although it remains hard to poke at the totality of Mayweather's incredible resume, a segment still exists of those who take issue with the timing of some of Floyd's fights. In addition to waiting 5 years to face Pacquiao, although blame can be shared on both sides, Mayweather fought just 3 times over a 4-year run at his physical prime from 2008 to 2011, and largely avoided the gauntlet of a loaded welterweight division. Although it was early in his rise toward becoming the biggest pay-per-view star in combat sports history, Floyd had already amassed the type of control over his matchmaking, and more importantly, the terms of said fights that only Sugar Ray Leonard had known. Floyd also timed retirements, which allowed him a chance to build his star commercially through such avenues as WrestleMania and Dancing with the Stars, while resting his chronically injured hands. So what would have happened had Floyd, instead of retiring, faced the likes of Miguel Cotto, Antonio Margarito, a younger Shane Mosley, Paul Williams, and prime Pacquiao at 147 pounds? First of all, Floyd likely wouldn't have been able to enjoy the incredible longevity he showed late in his 30s if he had took on such dangerous fights in succession. Now, yes, it's easy to imagine Floyd beating all those fighters in their primes, although it would have been interesting to see how Floyd would have handled Paul Williams' length and volume. But Floyd had a method to his madness that got him to 50-0, and that is hard not to respect. Okay? Whatever he was doing, he got to 50-0, and you gotta respect it. Bottom line. What if history had been kinder to Gennady Golovkin? Triple G. What if history had been kinder to Triple G? Okay. Now, Triple G would go down as one of the greatest middleweights in boxing history, thanks in large part to his record-tying 20 title defense, tied with B-Hop. Yet, there's more than ample reason to debate whether the Kazakh slugger could have one day retired as the greatest had it not been for some bad luck in politics. Now, Golovkin was already aged 30 and nearly halfway into his 160-pound title reign by the time he made his U.S. debut in 2012. Soon he became the most avoided fighter in the sport and looked to offset that limitation by staying as active as possible. Now, although he went on to fight Canelo 3 times, he was forced to wait 2 full years before first doing so, as the Mexican star strategically allowed Triple G to reach his 35th birthday. Then came the controversial scorecards in the first 2 fights, not to mention Canelo's failed drug tests in between. Had Triple G received a winning nod in their first 2 meetings, like many experts believe he deserved against one of the biggest names of his era, his record would have been unblemished, when they had no losses, and hard to ignore. Only losses he got is those 2 Canelos. Now, one can also imagine where he might be ranked had former lineal champions and future Hall of Famers Sergio Martinez and Miguel Cotto not openly avoided him. Critics of Triple G would be fair to mention the favorable decisions he earned against Daniel Jacobs and Sergey Devryanchenko, as would historians who counter that his title defense streak contains fights for interim and secondary belts, which, like the current debacle within the WBA, shouldn't be recognized on the same level. Okay, I'm gonna do one more before we get out of here. What if Riddick Bowe hadn't thrown his WBC heavyweight title in the trash in 1992 and ducked Lennox Lewis? Yep, and ducked Lennox Lewis. Because that's what he did. Riddick Bowe Lennox was the one getting lowballed, not Riddick. Riddick ducked him. Okay? Yes, he did. Now, for as much as this has remained a fun topic to discuss over the past 3 decades, it's hard not to ignore the fact that we might already know the answer. Lewis, who represented Canada, scored a technical knockout of Bowe in the gold medal match at the super heavyweight division at the 1988 Olympics. Given Bowe's not-so-secret disdain for conditioning, it's not a stretch to imagine his team was strategic in keeping him away from Lewis in order to help Bowe maximize his financial window. Fresh off a breakthrough title win over Evander Holyfield in their first 3 meetings, Bowe went on to successful title defenses for big money over Michael Dokes and Jesse Ferguson in 1993, after dumping his WBC title in the trash to duck his mandatory opponent, Lennox Lewis. Not long after that took place, the wheels slowly began to fall off for Bowe, who would split his next 2 fights with Holyfield, but end up effectively washed up by age 27, amid wild fluctuations in weight. For everything Bowe brought to the table as a 6'5" puncher with a strong chin and the ability to box at close range, Lewis was just as good or better in almost every category except for his weak chin. And Lewis had the psychological edge, having stopped Bo in the Olympics. Yeah, Lewis stopped him in the Olympics. Now, what if Eric Morales had fought Juan Manuel Marquez in their featherweight prime? That's the only matchup out of the Morales, Marquez, Pacquiao, and Guerrero that didn't happen. Was Morales and Marquez. That's the only one that didn't happen. Now, this wasn't exactly your father's four kings of the 1980s, when welterweight and middleweight stars Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, Roberto Duran, and marvelous Marvin Hagler took over the sport by waging memorable wars against one another. Right? This is the final one. I got more, but we ran out of time. Yet the four-pack of fighters that operated in and around the 126-pound division in the 2000s, Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez, Eric Morales, and Marco Antonio Barrera, still provided a number of all-time great fights. The only pairing, however, that did not take place among the featherweight four kings was Morales and Marquez. And there's a case to be made that it could have produced the best theater of them all. As an expert counterpuncher, Marquez would have possessed the perfect antidote to Morales' attacking style, the countering, just like he did Manny, remember? Now, the peak time for this match may have been in late 2004 at 130 pounds, had Morales not chosen to complete a trilogy with Barrera. Now, Marquez was fresh off a draw in his first of four meetings with Pacquiao, and Morales would begin his trilogy with the Pac-Man the following year. Given the toughness and vulnerability shown at times by each fighter, there's little doubt a highly skilled brawl would have broken out. Considering Morales was operating at the tail end of his prime by this point, and the late peaking Marquez had yet to enter his, Morales, El Terrible, would likely have come in as the favorite on that one. Okay, appreciate everybody for stopping by today. Wow, look at that. Ooh. All those people, and I got to go. Man. Okay, but I appreciate everybody for stopping by today. Join me again tomorrow for, we're going to talk about the flyweight division, okay? We're going to talk about history of the flyweight division, some of the all-time greats that operated there, 112, and the current top 10, some great fights that's happened in the division, and some other significant events that occurred concerning the 112 division in boxing. So Al Booger, Defiant Arnie 1, Terrell Cameron, Melanin Queen 27, D for the win, Jose Chavez, Andrew K, Just Do Boxing, Thomas Hill, Mike Grimm, Crush the Legend, Mike Mazik, Miss Cass. Appreciate everybody. Okay. Join me tomorrow for some more boxing history. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's The Boxtorian, bringing you all of that boxing history. Just Do Boxing is straight ahead. This is Cass Sports. Appreciate y'all. Everybody have a great afternoon. I will see y'all around those JBT streets.